Stranger Things is the type of show that has helped to shape Netflix's success. The show was an unexpected success, and fans are eagerly anticipating the release of new seasons soon after the current season concludes. With this level of hype, it was only natural for the cast to get the rap, too. Here are some facts about the cast that you may not have known. Keep an eye out. David Harbour's appearance on Stranger Things has undoubtedly aided his career, as he recently appeared as the superhero Hellboy in his titular reboot film. Because Hellboy is a niche film rather than a standard superhero film, few will be aware that a Stranger Things cast member was also a superhero. Harbour's version of the character appeared in an R-rated film, but it failed to live up to expectations and received a poor critical response. Still, being the lead in a superhero film is something most actors, and even non-actors, dream of. Stranger Things' popularity enabled David to take on the role. Gaten Matarazzo's charitable contributions. This young lad is considered the cutest member of the Stranger Things cast, but his smile isn't something the creators have manufactured. In reality, the actor has cleidocranial dysplasia, which has given him his distinct appearance. While it has benefited Gaten, whose smile is seen as attractive, the disease affects a portion of the population. How does Gaten approach this? He uses social media to spread the word about CCD Smiles, an organization that helps people with this condition. Gaten's charity work has enabled a nonprofit to help out people with CCD. Noah Schnapp has a twin. This young boy is still only 14 years old, and he has tasted success that most people will never experience in their lives. With this level of success, Noah's family life has taken a back seat, and fans' attention has been solely focused on him. It's also worth noting that Noah was never alone before fame because he's a twin. He has a sister named Chloe with whom he shares a birthday. It's interesting how many fans of the actor were unaware of this little factoid, but we're sure his sister is very proud of what her twin has accomplished. Stephen King is a huge fan of Millie Bobby Brown back before Stranger Things had even been greenlit. Stephen King made it vocal of his admiration of Millie Bobby Brown. This was in response to Brown's performance in Intruders, a show she appeared in a few years before Stranger Things. Brown was barely a decade old at the time, but Stephen King seems to know which ones stand out from the crowd, as he went on Twitter to praise the young actress's work. Intruders featured Millie Bobby Brown as a young girl whose body was taken over by the soul of a serial killer, so you can see how challenging this must have been. For their auditions, the children were required to read Stand By Me. You've probably never heard of Stand By Me, which is understandable given that it was released over 30 years ago in the 1980s. However, the film had a huge impact on the film's young fan base at the time, and it featured child actors who went on to achieve significant fame. When auditioning for Stranger Things, the actors who were eventually cast were required to read lines from Stand By Me as part of their evaluation process. These kids had probably never heard of the film, but they needed to ace the audition featuring this film's work in order to land their star-making roles. Bobby Brown. Millie almost stopped acting. Millie Bobby Brown was considered for the role of X-23 in Logan, but did not make the cut, prompting the actress to consider quitting acting altogether. Before Stranger Things, Brown only had the Intruders job as a stable role, and only had bit parts in shows like Grey's Anatomy. She claims, however, that she was sick with the acting bug and tried out for Stranger Things just before she considered quitting her acting job. We're sure she's thanking her lucky stars she didn't quit before auditioning for her most well-known role now that she's become the show's most famous cast member. The cast participated in trick or treating. When the cast was first getting to know one another, they engaged in activities that were, to say the least, very 1980s. The children's cast stated that they did everyday activities to get to know each other better, and that they did not consider fame to be a watershed moment in their lives. One of the more traditional activities they did was go trick-or-treating as a group. As one might expect, they drew attention when ordinary people saw these celebrity kids doing something they wouldn't expect them to do. They were probably near you, but you didn't notice them on Halloween. A total of 1,213 children auditioned. If you think the child actors are talented, you're onto something, because these kids had to compete against literally thousands of other children to land their roles. The boys' cast is larger than the girls, and more boys naturally auditioned as a result of this requirement. However, even with this requirement, the number of auditionees was mind-boggling. There were 906 boys and 307 girls among the 1,213 children who auditioned. No wonder it took so long for the show to be commissioned, since we imagine it must have been a very long process to settle on the kids who finally got the parts. Charlie Heaton and Millie Bobby Brown are both English. The actors do an excellent job with their American accents, masking the fact that they are British. Charlie Heaton and Millie Bobby Brown are both from the United Kingdom, and her native accents are English. Millie claims she learned her American accent from watching the Disney Channel, so if you're a prospective actor, then you might want to catch up on Hannah Montana. Not only would you not have known Charlie was English, but you would also not have known he's been a father since the age of 20. The actor had a son with English singer Akiko Matsuura in 2014. Winona Ryder isn't the actress's real name. Yes, this will surprise older Stranger Things fans who knew Winona back when she was the biggest deal in show business in the 1980s and 1990s. Her given name is Winona Laura Horowitz, and she is the daughter of Michael D. Horowitz, a well-known author and bookseller. Ryder is Winona's stage name, which she adopted after the rock singer Mitch Ryder. Winona's father was a big Mitch Ryder fan, so she was able to use his surname as her own. Winona Ryder is the name by which everyone knows her now. More than 3 decades later, the show is based on a time travel project in real life. There aren't any transdimensional horror beasts rampaging through quiet suburban towns that we're aware of, but Stranger Things is based on true conspiracy theories about the US government conducting reality-bending experiments on children. The Montauk Project, in particular, has been mentioned in other works of fiction, ranging from Lost to Thomas Pynchon's novel Bleeding Edge. Much of what Eleven goes through in the laboratory corresponds to the alleged Montauk Project events. I hope you are enjoying the show. If so, please subscribe to our channel. The show was almost an anthology series with different characters and settings every season. Stranger Things, as we know it, almost didn't happen. The Duffer Brothers intended for it to begin with a monster-centric flash of 1980s nostalgia, but they also wanted it to progress through the 1990s, 2000s, 2010s, and then 2020 in a final season that would air in 2020. After the first season, Eleven, Dustin, Will, Mike, Lucas, and the rest of the cast would have left the show. Fortunately, they recognized the value of the team they'd assembled and chose to remain focused on their original story. Dacre Montgomery's audition tape was unusually shirtless. Dacre Montgomery played the greasy-headed Billy Hargrove in the second season. The character was inspired by Stephen King's classic villain Randall Flagg, who appears in several of the author's novels. Montgomery, on the other hand, channeled a slew of other demons during his audition. He read through the prepared scenes, but then added a Duran Duran song in the middle of reciting the scene where he tries to run down Max's. Sadie Sink, new friends, started dancing, went a little nutty, and ended the whole thing with a newfound mustache and no shirt. Ross Duffer stated that they hired him without the need to fly him to Los Angeles. Brown appeared on a glitter-covered set once. When discussing the unique challenges of working with a young cast, the Duffer Brothers like to tell the story of how production was briefly halted because Brown arrived on set completely covered in glitter. No, they never discovered the source of the glitter. No, they never have to be concerned about something like that happening to David Harbour. That's all we had for you today. Hope you enjoyed the show. If so, please let us know in the comment section. For this and many more videos, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, show us some love by clicking on the like button below and sharing the video with your friends and family. Hit the notification bell to notify you every time we upload a new video. Bye. See you next time in the upcoming video, and take care of yourselves.